Air signs, welcome. I'm David. This is Words of Light Astro-Tarot. I'm doing a special reading here for the Sagittarius full moon. That's going to be late on the 13th, going into the 14th. Tomorrow and Tuesday, 23 degrees Sag. And I think I'm a Sag, and it's always kind of a great full moon for me. But this is the kind of beginning of summer, and usually with this one, it's good to be, I think, outdoors. Like if you find a drum circle on a beach or something, or just go out on the porch at least. If it's God willing, we can be able to see it. Go out in the backyard and sit around a pit fire. Good time to be with friends, especially if you're Gemini. um, that's kind of what I think. It's kind of the start of summer, and I think this maybe because I'm a Sag, I'm prejudiced. Of course, if you're a Gemini, it's at 23 degrees, going to be opposing you. An opposition with full moon is not that bad because your sun's there. That's kind of an important thing. For Geminis, this kind of a full moon is always about illumination. The sun is fully illuminating the moon, and so it's a great time just to kind of. It's like if you ever took MDMA, ecstasy, like with a lover, where you're gonna just pull back, all the inhibitions. You kind of open yourself up, and really be free. And you're not like, therapists used it, back in the day, for exactly that reason. So, you could face like shadow work without like that self judgment and all the inhibitions. So I think like that's kind of what a full moon is, particularly if it's hitting anywhere, within a 5-degree orbit at 23 degrees, Gemini for you. Um, for Aquarius, of course, it's sextile energy. So that's always a learning energy. And same thing for Libra. And with sextiles, it's harmonious at 60 degrees. But it's all about, like, you just have to focus on what is meaningful there for you. If it's to the sun, it's always going to be something about how you express yourself. I mean, I feel as an astrologer, like one of the most basic things is that the whole chart, when you get out of the spiritual part of it with the nodes and Pluto and all that, really it's there to ideally support our sun self so that we can most be ourselves. And that's kind of what this is all about, energy wise. And so this is a kind of energy where you might have to stop and think about it for a minute with a sextile. With trine, it's just going to happen. It's like just good juicy energy going to happen. But with the sextile, you got to think about for a minute like what it is that you need to do to get that kind of alignment. But then usually then it comes. That's could be like, I've always been wanting to go back and bone up on my guitar work and get more into that. And you find that right at this time, whereas before like, you couldn't really get into it. You pick up the guitar, and just as an example, and you find yourself just wailing, and it's like feeling good, and it's like, wow, it's something like that for you guys. But let me look at the reading here. What we have is I did lay it out, but I haven't even really much considered it right now. But what we have is this is your energy. This is your challenge. This is the advice from spirit. This is the outcome. This is your energy being air. So it's going to be some kind of realization. We've got to remember too that at this time you got Mercury at 0 degrees, again Gemini. So massive importance for Gemini. Trine to you guys that are Aquarius and Libras. So I got a feeling that this whole reading is kind of for you guys. It's more, this full moon, what it could be illuminating and everything, is whatever came from this retrograde. And this retrograde, I'm always a big believer as an astrologer. You've got to look at the personal chart, what's being hit. I'm so tight about doing the transit thing. But I think that this retrograde is a lot about values because it goes into Taurus, and brings that in. You've got the nodes there in Taurus. And so it was in Gemini to start with. And so that was kind of like a lot of thinking and brainstorming. And it went back into Taurus. I felt all this because I'm a Mercury dominant, Virgo rising, and it's very dominant as anyway, by aspect and house and everything for me. So every Mercury retrograde hits me hard. It's real internal for me. Matt Download City has been really great, actually, this one. So for you guys, that would have been about kind of a really brainstorming about what really your values are. And then going back into Taurus, it's that fixed earth. It's like, you really want to nail it. And that was all been going on for the last week and a half. And now it goes back into Gemini. And now you're popping out of this with this full moon, and really, you should leave me a message. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. This is resonating. It should be whatever you experience you're going through based on the house that it's in for you and the aspects it's making, of course, all your other planets. It should be coming up with a solid plan, basically, or a solid, this could just be a solid realization, something set clear with you. And, just want to say with air signs, I'm a fire sign. I'm supposed to not be that emotional. I've got a Cancer moon. I have 4 planets in Sag, but where is it? It's in the 4th house, ruled by what, the moon. So I cry at drop. I'm very emotional, but I got Sag, I got Scorpio, Venus, so all depends. But being as this is in the blocking position, it's talking about like dropping down into your emotions during this. You're coming in with this Queen of Cups, so again, it's like you're set up for this. Like, you must be in a good, strong emotional place. It maybe you feel like you have emotional intelligence. You're emotionally even available. You have emotional awareness. So maybe this is a really good time to really go inside. You also got Mars on Charon, however that's aspecting you. Um, that's going to be sextile for Aquarius, and of course, it's going to be opposing Libra. And again, that opposing energy is not so bad. I mean, it's you often can get something done with opposing energy. You just got to focus on it and sort of make up your mind. But 16 degrees Aries, that's where that's hitting, and that's a punch through dealing with the Charon wound. All the readings I've been doing recently seem to be going to there. That could be what this is about. And it's gonna, well, probably is something emotional. Usually is with the Charon wound. Usually goes back to the childhood. I'll leave out my story, and it's in the Sag reading. But I get the feeling like you're in a good place to deal with this, because you're coming in with this Queen of Cups, And now the advice from Spirit is the Two of Pentacles. So now that's about, it is a choice, but in this reading, that's about like making up your mind about something. And it's about bringing balance, because she's on one foot, she's balancing these, pentacles. And, that's that energy of like, you get yourself set up so that you meditate and you exercise or your yoga and you're eating right and you're, getting to the job, doing what has to be done. You're leaving time for the family or the relationship and for yourself. And it's kind of hitting on all cylinders, kind of that 6th house energy, daily routine. To me, that's a lot as advice. That's exactly what this is, and that could be helping you to deal with this Charon stuff, which can be kind of emotional. And as an outcome with the Page of Swords, just kind of looking back at this Two of Pentacles, could be also this reading even. This could be someone coming into your life. This could be like a child, like they say something, if you're a parent or you're just around children, you know how they are. They just say something and they don't know better, out of the mouths of babes. And it just kind of connects with you and speaks to maybe what this Charon wound is about. Again, I think because this moon, to me, it's a benevolent moon. Even if you're a Libra and you've got that energy opposing, you still got Jupiter over there opposing you. It's the great benefic. It's pretty benevolent. It's not like you got Saturn over there opposing you. And if you're an Aquarius, you're set, because again, you're in that sextile situation. This is something you can look at it. It's not threatening. You got the benefic there. You got Mars at home there. Yeah, it's hard energy. It wants to push pull. It's probably going to hurt, but you might cry at some point because something goes bang. But that's Mars punching through that Caroline wheel and gets you through the other side of it. Because the sextile, it's working for you. It's a learning energy. It's something you can take up in your hands, and again, once you focus on it and do it, it's like goes pretty easy. Even like if before you had trouble dealing with it, now it goes pretty easy. And maybe what all that does, being that this is advice, is it kind of brings you into some kind of balance more in your life, where you feel like you're more balanced. I think we're going into a good period for a few months just in general. And I think the falls is going to be an absolute clusterfuck for everyone. Be like every man for themselves kind of energy. So I think this is a good summer to kind of get yourself into this balanced sort of energy and get prepared, I mean, it could even be like laying in some food, go all there. But with this looking back at you, this is the outcome. I think when this is over, and this is, again, can be this Mercury at 0 degrees Gemini, it's talking to you. Maybe it's your just, I'm clairaudience. I'm always listening to my mind, especially when I do readings for what I'm being told, what pops up. And this seems like a 0 degrees Mercury energy right here. That's kind of where it is right as the moon is full, but now it's going to rapidly finish its shadow in a few days and move on into Gemini. So for a while now, it's going to pick up, still building steam, but it's going to start its merry way through Gemini. And so you can have a couple weeks of all this kind of now being able to really put things in perspective, I think, whatever came out of this Mercury retrograde, and get yourself balanced and get in perspective. Having maybe dealt with this, could be, Carol one's going to be painful. I think it make you cry. It's not that much of a stretch, but you're coming into it in a pretty good place, and you're going out of it here. This could be like a nugget that's a takeaway, even just a thought. But it's one of those thoughts with the Page of Swords. It's like, again, that little kid that says something, that thought that comes up in your mind. You're just stepping off the curve, and it's like kapow. And it's that thought, and probably, in my opinion, it comes from the Mercury retrograde, and it's that thought that just puts everything into balance, That one little thought, but when it hits, you go, now I get it. And you might get a whole lot, and you might get clear of the Chiron moon, which is usually around integrating it, right? And just, they say, like, you can't really get rid of it. Kind of in my experience, it's more about, being able to get your arms around it and your mind around it and integrate it in a way where it's, not something that hurts you so much anymore, but something that, it's like life is always carving us into some greater thing, I think, guys. I mean, that's what that's about. And it hurts sometimes. It hurts to get, have God take a wood carving tool and hit it with a hammer to hone us into this more perfect thing. Let me know what you think, guys. Love you. Do like, share, subscribe. The channel's up to over 1,000 finally, moving a little bit. And start a new channel, hashtag My Mexican Expat Life. If you have any interest in moving overseas or moving to Mexico, just started that. It's really not about tarot astrology. Or if you have any friends that might be in that position. A lot of young people coming here now because, a lot of times they work online. So you're making money in euros or US dollars, and you're living here on kind of Mexican dollars. And it's safe, and I love Mexico. The people, love the weather. It's a huge country. There's everything. There's deserts and mountains, and of course oceans and lakes and beaches, and it's just amazing. So if you're interested in that, my first video is just a walkthrough of the casa and meet my girlfriend here, Aurora. So thank you, guys.